24th of December, it's Christmas Eve, and welcome to our final video in this Advent devotional series. And today we're looking at John 14, verse 6 and 7 that says this: Jesus answered, "I am the way, the truth and the life. No one comes to the Father except through me. If you really know me, you will know my Father as well. From now on, you do know him and have seen him." So this is a huge statement from Jesus.
That's amazing.
You were telling me it can't be taken lightly, this statement. Tell us a little bit more about that.
Well, I think sometimes we can just have Jesus painted as he was a great moral teacher, or he was a great example, or he was this miracle worker. And yet this statement shows us that Jesus was claiming to be far more than that. He was saying that the way to get to God, in fact the only way to get to God. We live in a culture that would say that there are many ways to get to God and many ways up the mountain. And yet Jesus is saying that the only way into a relationship with God the Father is through him.
Yeah. And
I love how C.S. Lewis put it. He said we can't treat Jesus just as some good person who said nice things. He only left us with three choices. Either Jesus was mad, and he knew when he made these, he made these claims just because he was crazy, and we ought to feel sorry for him. Or he was bad, he was genuinely evil, and he made these claims knowing they were false. Or he really was who he claimed to be. He was God's one and only Son who came to the earth to die for our sins and to make a way in order that we might have a relationship with God, that our sin can be taken away and we can know him. And he only really leaves us those three options.
Yeah.
And if you or I, or anyone else I've ever met, made these claims that we're the only way to God, we'd just be laughed out of court as like, that is utterly ridiculous. And yet somehow when Jesus said these things, people stopped and listened to him. And everything he did, his moral teaching, which has never been bettered, the miracles that he performed, the impact his life on the world, his death and resurrection, all of those things pointed to the fact that actually these outrageous claims actually were true. And I just want to encourage us to get away from any sense of Jesus just being this little baby who gave us Christmas and Easter. He came to transform the world. His death and resurrection was the pivotal moment in the whole of human history. And let's not have any thoughts of him just being some little child or just a nice story. And I personally want to challenge anyone who's living with that to go, no, what's your decision? Was Jesus mad, or was he bad, or was he God? They're the only options you have when you look at him.
And here we are 2,000 years after the birth of Jesus, and people still talk about it, and people are still living their life for him, and he's still impacting the whole world. Just growing, more and more people are coming to know Jesus. And really, as we finish this series, we want to provide an opportunity really for any of you maybe watching these videos who've never really made that step to say, actually I do believe that Jesus is the Son of God who came to die and rose again from the dead. And if that's you, then I want to encourage you, go along to church. It's Christmas Eve today. Maybe you're watching this on Christmas Eve or some other time, but get along to a local church near you. And go along and speak to the people there who are leading things there, and they can help you in your spiritual journey, in your walk of coming to know Jesus, like we've been speaking about for this whole month. And maybe for you already call yourself a Christian, you already call yourself a follower of Jesus. And we would just encourage you, make the most of this season. Come back to Jesus today. You can choose today to come back to him and acknowledge him again, that like you said, he is the way, the truth and the life, that he wasn't mad, that he wasn't bad, but he was who he said he was. Our prayer for you is that you'll have a great Christmas, and actually much more than that you'll have a great life ahead of you where you know Jesus and you're following him in all that you do. So thanks for joining us on this series, and we'll see you next time.